As well as the lessons learned from the conduct of previous programs, we intend to strengthen the capacity building arms of our Anchor Borrower program, which will help support better farming practices and higher outputs for farmers. Through the credit bureaus, we will also leverage technological tools such as analytics in identifying and supporting farmers that have exhibited good credit behavior in repayment of their loan obligations. This measure will improve their ability to source for financing from commercial banks. We'll introduce a non-oil export aspect to the Anchor Borrowers program, which will focus on linking smallholder farmers to international buyers. To discourage the activities of smugglers who bring in restricted goods into the country, perpetrators and their affiliated companies and their shareholders and their top management will be blacklisted and denied access to banking services in the entire country. This renewed focus on our intervention program, coupled with increased support for research and development on improved seedlings and enhanced farming practices, will help drive exponential growth of our agricultural and manufacturing sectors. On financial inclusion, over the next 5 years, through initiatives and policy measures such as the Shared Agent Network and the Payment Services Bank, we intend to broaden access to financial services to individuals in underserved parts of the country. Our ultimate objective is to ensure that 95% of eligible Nigerians have access to financial services by the year 2024. We'll also intensify our financial literacy and consumer protection programs such that current and eligible bank customers are fully aware of the financial services being offered to them, as well as the cost of utilizing these services, which would enable them to make well-informed choices. Besides providing valuable information to banking customers, we are committed to developing and enforcing strong rules to protect consumers. Our Banking Supervisory and Consumer Protection Department at the CBN will ensure that dispute resolution mechanisms in financial institutions are not only efficient, but also timely, in order to maintain the confidence of the Nigerian populace in the utilization of banking services. Access to credit. Beyond our intervention programs, we are also working to encourage banks and financial institutions to lend from their balance sheets in order to support the growth of critical sectors of the economy, such as agri, MSMEs, and the real estate sector. Greater emphasis on improving consumer spending and business investment by MSMEs is critical to sustainable double-digit growth of the Nigerian economy. MSMEs today constitute over 90% of businesses in the country. Through the National Collateral Registry, over 400 billion naira worth of movable assets have been registered by MSMEs in the registry. We intend to triple this number over the next 3 years. Our ultimate objective is to broaden the range of collaterals that MSMEs can provide to banks in order to obtain credit facilities. This will help improve access to credit for farmers and MSMEs, and it will also support the growth of their respective businesses. Unique identification. In order to ease the constraint poor identification has on availability of credit to prospective banking customers, the CBN will support an aggressive enrollment of prospective banking customers in the informal sector onto the bank verification number system. The current enrollment of 38 million unique banking customers will be expanded to 100 million over the next 5 years. Ongoing partnership with the Nigerian Identity Management Commission, NIMC, will also enable integration between the two databases. This effort will improve the comfort level of banks in providing services to an expanded customer base. It will also aid in the development of a credible profile for our banking customers, which will assist in improving access to credit for credit-worthy borrowers by banks. Lending to MSMEs. The Universal Microfinance Bank will also work to improve access to credit for our micro, small, and medium enterprises in rural communities, which will help stimulate improved economic activities in our communities. In order to reduce the constraints which high account receivables have on the growth and operation of MSMEs, we will support the development of a trade receivables portal, which will enable MSMEs trade their invoices with financial institutions in order to improve their cash flow and support ongoing operations of their respective businesses. And on consumer credit, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that today, less than 10% of adult Nigerians who have a bank account utilize financial products offered by banks such as credit cards, personal loans, mortgage loans, auto loans, and consumer durable loans. Consumer credit is critical to the growth of any economy and indeed our economy, as it will help to boost consumer spending, accelerate improved investments by businesses who seek to meet the demand of consumers. Improved consumer spending and investments by businesses will ultimately help to support the growth of our economy and support our job creation efforts. In order to support lending to consumers, a lending framework will be announced by the CBN under which large departmental stores, automobile companies, equipment leasing companies, in partnership with financial institutions and the credit bureaus, will be able to provide credit facilities at reasonable interest rates to consumers. This will help to support consumer spending and aid our efforts at driving the growth of our economy. The framework being developed will support the emergence of a digital, less burdensome process for consumers who seek to access such facilities. Credit platforms of consumers will be shared with credit bureaus to access repayment patterns and credit histories of customers. This will also enable financial institutions to provide additional credit to creditworthy borrowers. Financial institutions will also be mandated to disclose to consumers the upfront charges involved in accessing such credit facilities in order to prevent consumers from being abused by money lenders. On mortgage lending, fellow Nigerians, you will agree with me again that a lot of equity is currently tied down in mortgage assets which are today entirely cash-backed. In our efforts to support the growth of Nigeria's real sector and mortgage estate industry, the CBN will work in developing a framework that will enable banks to securitize mortgage loans, which can then be sold in the capital market. In fact, part of our engagements is also to provide some form of interest drawback for mortgages, such that maximum interest to be paid by the qualifying mortgages will not be more than 9% per annum. Adequate safeguards will be put in place to reduce the risk of delinquency in the mortgage-backed assets that will be sold in the capital markets. These measures will reduce the credit and liquidity risk to banks of holding these assets on their balance sheet and improve the amount of funds available to support mortgage loans. It will also reduce the high cost of obtaining mortgages for banking customers. In conclusion, I'd like to conclude my remarks by stating that although these goals are onerous and tasking, the CBN will remain committed to fulfilling its mandated objectives of price and exchange rate stability. We will continue to work to safeguard the stability of the financial system while supporting the development of a payment system infrastructure that will improve access to credit to all eligible Nigerians. Nevertheless, additional emphasis will be placed on supporting greater growth of our economy and in reducing unemployment through targeted interventions in the agricultural and the manufacturing sectors. Over the next 5 years, this will be the task of the Central Bank of Nigeria under my leadership, and we intend to do our very best to achieve these objectives. I thank you for your attention.